The Minister of Defense of Russia, Sergei Shoigu, continues to scare the leaders of law enforcement agencies of other countries by the information that Ukraine is allegedly preparing provocations using a dirty bomb. On October the 26th, after phone calls to the Ministers of Defense of France, Turkey, the United States and Britain, Shoigu also called to the Ministers of India and China. Russia has even initiated a meeting of the United Nations Security Council to discuss the dirty bomb without providing any evidence for these accusations. Meanwhile, there are reports that the so-called dirty bomb may have been tested for years by Russia itself.
Sects, criminal groups and terrorists do not dare to use them only because the effect of the impact is absolutely unknown. It can be known and studied only as a result of a long series of expensive and dangerous experiments. The only country that has such experience is Russia, on the islands of Lake Ladoga in the immediate vicinity of Leningrad. They've been carrying out the experiments with dirty bombs for almost 30 years. Alexander Nevzorov, Russian opposition journalist, on Telegram. There were two moments. They had an accident at the Mayak Production Association, which was engaged in the processing of fuel and radioactive waste, and then the famous spread of Ruthenium-108 was recorded by the whole world. Then in the north, they closed sea and trade routes. We're testing something there, but they never admitted what they were doing there exactly. However, 5 employees of Rosatom died during the tests.
Information about the dirty bomb began to appear frequently in the media at the beginning of the century. After the attacks in the United States on September the 11th, 2001, there was fear that Al-Qaeda would try to use the so-called dirty bomb in terrorist attacks. The dirty bomb is more of a Cold War cliché, experts say. The bomb itself is a dynamite with the addition of radioactive substances. In the event of an explosion, the substances scatter around, infecting the territory. This is not a nuclear weapon. Nothing like that has ever been used. This is not the first time Russia has blamed Ukraine for no reason.
The Russian Federation is working very closely with Iran. A virus information about dirty bombs are from somewhere there. As a rule, it is terrorist organizations that use nuclear material. I have been hearing this dirty bomb hysteria since 2017. The Russian Federation once dispersed another fake, that the State Inspectorate handed over highly active elements to the National Guard of Ukraine or other law enforcement agencies for sabotage in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions.
Experts say that in Ukraine, which has several nuclear power plants, there really is spent nuclear fuel. That is not a secret. The level of its enrichment, though, is not high, and all waste is under the control of the International Atomic Energy Agency, and Russia has many times more resources for making a dirty bomb. For example, about 6% of the world's uranium deposits, and now a nuclear waste storage facility at the temporarily occupied by the Russian army Zaporizhia NPP. According to the previous agreements, Ukraine transferred its nuclear fuel to the Federation.
They also have a lot of power plants. They have unique technologies. They are the only ones who have fast neutron units. No one in the world has such technology. They even accepted our fuel until 2021. The Russians accepted heat from our power plants. They could extract valuable elements that are formed during the operation of the nuclear fuel in the core.
The Pentagon said that an attempt to blame Ukraine for something was just a far-fetched reason for a possible escalation in the war unleashed by Russia. NATO has called the calls of the Minister of Defense of Russia, Shoigu, absurd.
We're also seeing Russia accuse Ukraine of preparing to use a radiological dirty bomb. This is absurd. Allies reject this blatantly false accusation, and Russia must not use false pretexts to escalate the war further.
If Moscow says that Ukraine is preparing something, then Russia has prepared it for a long time, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky emphasizes.
Everyone is afraid that there is a nuclear threat, you know? Yes, lately everyone has been talking about some kind of dirty bomb. So all this rhetoric comes from the Russian Federation. The threat is from them. They have occupied our nuclear power plant. They've threatened to occupy and undermine the hydroelectric power plant. We have what we have.
Analysts are sure that the new accusations of Ukraine are connected with the next defeat of the Russian army on the battlefield.
Russia has threatened the destruction of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the catastrophe at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. It threatened with tactical nuclear weapons when the Kharkiv region was liberated. And whenever Russia feels that it is losing the occupied territories, it cannot cope with conventional methods, that is, the conduct of hostilities.
However, Foreign Affairs Minister Dmytro Kuleba declares that Ukraine remains a loyal party to the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. Kyiv does not have any dirty bombs and its acquisition is not planned. Reported by Dana Kolesnik, Yulia Bezborodko, UATV News.